They said her skin looked like bruised starlight, that her eyes were too large, too luminous, too unsettling, that the delicate bioluminescent tendrils that framed her face like living jewelry made her look more like a deep-sea creature than a person. On planet Lyra's, beauty was symmetry and softness, smooth opal-white skin, thin silver hair that shimmered in artificial light, eyes a modest shade of violet, never glowing too bright. Every Lyrian child grew up knowing the template of perfection, displayed in holoscreens and sculpted in crystalline statues across every city. And Lyra was none of those things. Her skin shifted between purples and dark nebula blues depending on the light. Her silver blue veins glowed faintly beneath it like tiny rivers of energy. Her hair wasn't hair at all. Thin, flexible biolights that flowed down like fiber optic streams, changing color with her emotions. Her eyes were huge, liquid pools of cosmic gold, swirling like miniature galaxies. She was different, and Lyrians did not like different. Lyra learned early to keep her head down in school corridors and hoverwalkers. She wrapped her biolights into tight coils behind her head and dimmed her glow whenever possible. She never looked at her reflection for long. Heard too much. She had heard every word they whispered. Why does she look like that? Genetic defect. Can't they hide her better? I heard her father's research altered her genes. None of it was true. She was born natural. She was simply her. When adults stared, they tried to hide it. Children did not. Some flinched when she passed. Others laughed. By 16, Lyra had accepted that she would live softly and alone, like a shadow so nobody had to see her. But everything changed the day the human ship arrived. Humans were rare visitors, curious spacefarers whose technology was primitive but whose diplomacy was persistent. Lyros had agreed to a cultural exchange to maintain peace, and one human representative arrived, a linguistics apprentice named Orion Hayes. Lyra was assigned to help escort him during his study rotation at the academy, because she spoke Standard Terran better than most Lyrian students. When she first met him, he stared. They always stared. She braced for the usual flinch or polite half-smile of discomfort. But instead, his eyes widened like a child seeing a meteor shower for the first time. His breath caught audibly. She felt her light tendrils brighten with embarrassment and fought to dim them. "You," he whispered, then stopped, catching himself. "Sorry. I didn't mean to stare." "It is expected," she murmured, voice low. "I am accustomed to it." He frowned. "Stare? No, I mean your colors, your hair, it's incredible." Lyra blinked. "Incredible? Yes." He smiled, warm and genuine. "You look like you're made of starfields." He froze. No one had ever said something like that. Not once. Not in 16 cycles of life. He extended a hand. "I'm Orion." She stared at the offered gesture before lightly touching her palm to his, a Lyrian greeting adaptation for human comfort. "I am Lyra." "Beautiful name," Orion said. She withdrew her hand quickly, unsure why her heart was beating fast. Lyrians rarely complimented. When they did, it was about achievements or intellect, not appearance. Complimenting someone's looks was considered shallow, immature. But somehow, hearing it felt like sunlight warming a forgotten seed. Over the next weeks, she guided him through Lyrian society protocols and assisted with translation exercises. He asked curious questions, not invasive ones. He admired Lyrian technology, marveled at the energy gardens and floating aqueducts, and grinned like a child every time he discovered something new. Humans, she learned, were wonderfully expressive. They felt emotions openly instead of hiding them behind etiquette and neutrality. They laughed loudly. They frowned deeply. They used their whole face when they spoke. Orion especially made every room feel warmer. And every time they met, he regarded her the same way. Not with confusion or discomfort, but fascination, appreciation. One afternoon, as they walked through the crystalline botanical dome overlooking Lyra's twin moons, he spoke softly. "You know," he said, watching her biolights ripple in lavender tones, "I think your world doesn't deserve you." She blinked. "What do you mean?" "I've seen the way people look at you," he said. "As if they don't realize how dazzling you are." Lyra looked away. Lyrians value symmetry. Uniform beauty. "Well, then they're wrong." Orion shrugged. "Symmetry is boring. You look like the universe painted you on purpose." Her chest tightened. "Do humans often speak this way?" "Only when we mean it," he replied. She didn't know what to do with how those words made her feel. It was like someone had opened a star inside her ribcage and let it breathe. Still, the world did not magically become kind. Later that cycle, in the academy atrium, a group of Lyrian students intercepted them. "Human," a boy sneered. "Do you not find her appearance disturbing?" "Disturbing?" Orion echoed, frowning. "Yes," a girl chimed in. "She looks like a corrupted nebula. Our society pities her." Lyra braced herself, gaze lowering. She expected Orion to go quiet, to sidestep away, to avoid association. Instead, he stepped forward. Not aggressively, but firmly protective. "You pity her," he said, voice calm. "That's funny. I pity you." The Lyrians stiffened. "You live on the most visually stunning world I've ever seen," he continued, "surrounded by cosmic beauty, and somehow you're blind to the brightest thing in it." Lyra's heart stopped. Her lights glowed bright gold, an involuntary reaction, full of emotion. She quickly tried to dim them, but Orion caught her hand gently. "Don't hide," he whispered. The students recoiled at the display of emotion and left with offended hisses. Lyra released a trembling breath. "You should not have said that," she whispered, though warmth spread through her. "It will make things harder for you." He smiled. "Worth it." Weeks passed. Rumors spread. Some students mocked them quietly. Others just stared. A few, surprisingly, started looking at Lyra differently, curiously, as if seeing her for the first time. Maybe wonder was contagious. One evening, Orion received transmission orders. His exchange term was ending. He would return to Earth. Lyra's lights flickered dim with a sadness she hadn't expected. "You will go," she said softly. "Yeah," he sighed, rubbing his neck. "But I don't want to." She looked up, startled. "I'll come back," he continued. "I promise. And if they won't let me return as a diplomat, I'll find another way." "Why?" she breathed. "There are many worlds. Many species." He stepped closer. "None like you." Her chest burned with a feeling she didn't have a word for. Something bright, terrifying, beautiful. When he finally left, the academy felt colder. The stars outside the dome seemed muted. She walked the corridors without dimming her biolights anymore. She wasn't sure when she stopped hiding. She only knew she couldn't go back to the smallness she once lived in. Whispers still followed her. But so did something new. Admiration. Curiosity. A single spark had shifted perception. Not for everyone, but enough to change the air around her. Months passed. Then, one quiet evening, the sky above Lyra's filled with a ripple of light. Human craft drive signatures. Lyra stood at the landing platform, heart racing as the first shuttle descended. The ramp opened, and Orion stepped out, carrying a small case and a smile that lit his entire face. He walked straight to her. "You waited," he whispered. I knew you would return, she replied, voice steady with new confidence. Humans keep their promises. He laughed softly. Not always. But I meant this one. She smiled, and her lights shimmered in cascading colors. Violet, gold, and deep cosmic blue. For once, she didn't dim them. She let herself glow. Orion looked at her the same way he had from the very first moment, like she was a miracle. Welcome home, Lyra said. He reached for her hand. This time she didn't hesitate. Lead the way, he replied. And under the twin moons of Lyros, amidst a world that once refused to see her, Lyra walked forward. No longer small, no longer hidden, carrying a universe of light within her, and beside her a human who saw beauty where others never looked. Because sometimes it takes just one voice saying, "You are beautiful," to rewrite an entire galaxy inside someone's heart.